Joining us on the show this morning as we discuss what to expect from this year's Bon Awards are the duo of Jenkins Alumona, Bon Awards consultant and president of Silverbird Group, Guy Murray Bruce. Good morning, sirs, and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
Now, why this award suddenly?
Well, it's never been done Bon has never organized a Broadcasting Organizations Award. So this is going to be the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards. Never been done by Bon. There are several award ceremonies that take place. And this is to reward people for their excellence in journalism and radio, TV, privately owned, state-owned, and private state and federally owned stations, to appreciate people in broadcasting and those stations we just talked about. Like I said, there are many award shows going on, but this is the biggest because we have
the Award, the Nigerian Media Merit Award,
all kinds of awards going on.
Awards to the best television, the best radio.
But Bon being the umbrella or as association for all the stations, it's going to be the most credible, most authentic, and most viewed and watched by people.
Great.
Okay, I'd like to ask you, how does it pan out? How do you even get nominated? What's the nomination process like? How empirical is the award system like? Are people going to vote for it, or a team will vote for it and meet amongst themselves?
Okay, on that note, I think I'll
Mr. Jenkins.
ask Mr. Jenkins.
So the idea is professionals rewarding professionals in the industry. So there's going to be a split of weighting the awards. So we're going to have people vote, people who watch television, and then we're going to have a panel of specialists, people who are experts, so to say, in the industry. So we're looking at 50% votes from people watching television, who watch your shows, and another 50% from the guys who are like experts. We will announce in due course that panel. It's going to consist of broadcasting teachers, people who have experience in this area, and all of them will sit in a room and make their, findings and tell us who they think the winner is. And then the votes, which will be public, will also be weighted, and eventually winners will be found in areas that include indigenous presentation, best presenter of news, best presenter on radio, best TV station, best morning show, maybe Arise will win. I don't know. So stuff like that. So it's genuinely an attempt to reward excellence in broadcasting, radio and television. The basis being that when people get rewarded, then they are maybe encouraged to do better. So that's what the target is.
Well, we certainly hope so, Mr. Alumona, but how do you define excellence? Since in view of recent news, such as the censorship of MultiChoice and Trust TV over a documentary that they aired, it appears that it's actually a subjective definition. Why is this important at this time, and how will you be looking at the criteria in your definition of excellence?
So excellence, I'm a trained journalist. Excellence is giving what the requirements are for broadcasting. It's not dependent on what a government parastatal thinks. I need to know what's going on in my country. If you tell me, I will vote for you as being excellent. I will not be reading the codes, basically, as long as you do not contravene the rules of broadcasting. And that is why we say we're splitting it into two. So, the weighting of the determination of who wins. So we have experts who are trained in journalism, who have practiced journalism, who know the codes. Then we have the people out there who are also voting. So if they say that you're excellent, you're excellent. We're not going to say that simply because someone says that they're not happy that you've announced that someone died, if the person actually died, that you suddenly are not excellent.
Okay. Now, how do you get into this competition? Oh, yeah, it's like a competition too. Do I nominate Tundu? Or we just sit down and wait? You will just pick me from your office to say, yes, I've been watching this guy.
Yeah, there'll be, thanks for that question.
Yeah.
There'll be a call for entries because now, if you think you're good, you now submit your application and say, my name is Mr. X, I'm a journalist for Arise TV, and I think I should. And then you give your resume, and that's it.
And you also send an entry which will be maybe a tip of this program, which in my view is excellent. So you send a tape and we put it out there. Guys, Arise Morning Show thinks they're the best morning show, but also channels, what their own morning show thinks also that they're the best. So the guys who watch TV every day will vote. And when we get the scores, which will be done by, some of the best audit firms in the world, and they take the votes based on internet voting, based on what other forms of voting, then we'll put it side by side with what the experts, which might include some of us here, think, and we pick the best. But you have to enter. If that's what the question is, you'll have to enter.
Okay, so I'm talking as somebody that takes feedback. And I want to know this because a lot of awards for journalists have been fraught with a lot of controversy, especially in this part of the world. And when you say they are judged by experts, the question is, what is the school of thought of those experts to journalism?
So if you have a cross-section of people sitting in a room and they can debate, okay, see, let's start by some of the earlier steps in your question. A lot of awards are given just because you like someone or because he's making a donation.
Largely.
But this is professionals rewarding professionals. It's going to be difficult for you to sit in a room and lie to yourself. And I'm not, how do you say it? I don't want to mention stations, here, but you can't lie about some things. You can't hide a light under a bushel. A superstar is a superstar. A good presenter is a good presenter. You're not going to lie about it. So the experts in the room are there
No, but people have lied about that in the past.
No, but this will not be because they're professionals, because this is the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria. They have no choice but to be true to themselves. This is not some guys in a room who want to create an awards ceremony because they want to make profit from it. So let's not forget, that is the biggest strength of these awards. There's no one to impress but yourselves. So the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria cannot lie to itself about who the best TV station is, who the best presenter is, who the best indigenous language documentary, for instance, is, just because there is no one to impress outside the umbrella organization for broadcasters in Nigeria, which all broadcasters somehow are members of. But when it's a few guys sitting in a room and say, okay, let's organize a pageant or a show.
Be careful, don't you?
There might be a chance that for profit, because this is in not for profit. So it's easier to guide and ensure that only the best gets selected.
So how do you guys get the money to put it together if you say it's not for profit?
It's not for profit because the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria is a non-for-profit organization. So it is not obligated. Let's start by the fact that the current chairman of BON, who is chairman of MultiChoice, Mr. John Ugbe, wants an event to encourage broadcast journalists to do better. So basically, what's this about? It's not about giving a plaque to someone somewhere. It's so that amongst your peers, amongst your fellow professionals, you can say, this year, I was the best in this, so that the other guy strives next year to also be the best.
And so may I also note that the judges will be credible. They have a lot at stake. I mean, because if you say a radio station is the best radio station, TV station, is based on the credibility of the judges. And they have, A, nothing to gain financially, but they're also credible people. If you have credible people there and a lot to lose in terms of credibility, they'll pick the right person or right organization.
Right, we established, didn't we, that it's going to hold in Lagos. We finally got there.
Yes.
But can we have more details? When are you going to be open for entries? What date is it going to hold? Just more details about the event and where exactly.
Well, call for entries will begin end of this month.
Okay.
But the details will come later when we make a tour, after a tour of media houses and the call for entries. But the date of the final show itself, the event in November, we've not set a date yet, but we know it's November.
Okay, Mr. Bruce, well, you don't have to feel uncomfortable to mention pageant.
No.
Because you've been doing a good job.
He was talking about
I remember Bunny Darego and how she went and conquered the world. So you've been doing a good job.
Thank you so
Whenever
much. I appreciate it. By the way, we have another pageant.
Yes, whenever you
in
mention
October.
pageants, I think you should
October.
just do some buga.
Buga.
Yes. Now, my question. Not everybody will want to apply. Why should I nominate myself? Or why should Rufai nominate himself by applying? Do you have any other, are you considering that? Okay, let's, maybe that way you can identify stars who will not ordinarily apply. You say, why should I nominate myself that I'm the best? Or why should she nominate herself that she's the best? Is there any other way? If she doesn't apply, then you won't consider her.
What I think, because we've always talked about people applying, but I also think that the committee might say, you know what, there's a guy in that station who ought to be there. Maybe we should reach out to him or her. Do you want to apply? We could put your name in, for example. But there are also TV stations and radio stations that stand out that might not even apply. We have to identify them at that point and say, look, you know what? This station is good for whatever they do. Those are things those are the extraordinary things we have to add to this whole selection process. So yes, it is possible.
Okay, so for me, I'm excited about this award because I see sort of like the PFA Awards, Professional Footballers Association Awards, footballers voting for other footballers, you know, and it comes with a lot. And when you look at the PFA, they're the most coveted. Most footballers will tell you that once I win the British PFA Awards, I'm good because my peers, you know, voted for me and they got me out there. Again, goes the question, how are we going to regulate in such a way that, yes, we'll get people voting from the audience, we'll also get professionals voting, that we'll have an award ceremony, that it will not be spoken of, okay, oh, there were some considerations. Because a lot of people, and good point you raised, Mr. Finney, lose faith in this Broadcasters Award is that, because at the end of the day, it's always suspects. And since Born is organizing, it comes with a lot. There's always suspect, there's always discrepancy. I mean, there's one particular...
Not Born now, not because they are doing their first.
Their first one.
There
was one particular
awards.
other award
Yeah.
that when the winner was announced, people were announcing the name of the second person as the winner, and everybody in the hall said, oh, this is cheating.
Yeah.
And we know why that happens. That's why I asked the question about money. It happens because political consideration happens. Some people give some people money to even organize the awards. That's why, will Bond be tasking itself to bring out that money? How would it seek sponsors? Will that not play a role? I'm just talking about the general integrity.
Well, I think for that, getting a sponsor for an event like that is not going to be a problem because we will get sponsors. However, those sponsors have nothing to do with the selection process. They're just there to market their products and services. It has nothing to do with the criteria because the criteria is there and the judges will be set up from veteran broadcasters in the industry. Like I said, they have a lot to lose if they select a wrong individual as the best anchor, best presenter on TV or radio. There'll be a lot of credibility there. I think Born is taking it very, very serious. The same way, it's almost like, I don't want to go religious, but it's almost like going
besides,
Catholic.
If you don't mind, Guy, it's the Born Awards, and all the membership of Born is equal. So how do you, if we're all equal, how do you influence me as a member to accept that you are better? It's almost impossible. So
Politics.
The politics, it's impossible when you have votes from outsiders, from the public, people voting. I don't want to mention the name of the audit firm here because it's not been finalized, but it's like people will vote. It will be on the website. It's digital. You can't lie about it. The votes are in. Anyone has access to the back end can see the votes. You can't go and lie about votes.
Will people also see the professionals' opinion and their scoring system?
Certainly, because if you see when the judges are announced finally, you'll see the spectrum, how it is impossible. Those names will make it impossible, virtually impossible, for them to, as Guy keeps saying, sell their conscience. Because ultimately, if people say that this is not a credible award, they'll be saying that those judges are not credible. And sincerely, there are still Nigerians who care about their credibility.
Of course there are. Let's never be cynical about this country. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.